Makes a big difference in Snake games. And you know what? We're going to let the draft do the talking for us. Now, Snake on the blue side, EDG over on the red. LeBlanc, Nidalee, the first two bans there for Snake, and Xerath instantly for EDG.
Yeah, one Sherman mid lane banned. They must know something about Fire Lolly that we don't with the Nidalee ban. You have to think it's probably a Nidalee jungle ban, but of course, Pawn against OMG. He was kind of the lone hand in that first game. They lost it, but of course, it was wonderfully strong on the Nidalee mid against Twisted Fate matchup. I'm guessing it's a jungle matchup. I don't have the scouting report to know if Fire Lolly's a big jungle Nidalee player, but it's banned away regardless.
Yeah, the Azir ban there as well. So Barker is going to get targeted here. Lulu, actually, a very interesting ban there for Snake as their last one, and EDG got one more ban to pick from.
I want to see the Jarvan ban. It leaves up so many champions, Cassidy, notably Gnar, and other strong picks, but I feel like it's central to Snake's power comps. If they leave it open, and then we start seeing these aggressive early turret dives, they only have themselves to blame.
I mean, Callisto though banned out away, so Crystal going to eat a ban there as well, taking away a carry that he's performed very well on. Although, to be fair, Crystal tends to perform on any carry he gets, and Snake have a lot of choices to make. They play Lissandra, Flandre plays Cassidy as well, but also plays Gnar, but do they really want the job, and how badly do they want it?
I can understand the Callisto ban. We actually see the lock-in coming through from Cassidy, and of course, it is a flexible pick. I'm not sure if Barker has shown that champion multiple times. I'm sure he has the mechanics to play Cassidy, but if I was to be a betting man, I think that's going to be a Cassidy top.
Yeah, I think so too. Flandre has played it a few times already in the LPL, and he's going to be back potentially on more of a carry-style top laner, which is always nice to see, but EDG, you're not going to move through. Vega actually left open, notably as well. He forgot about that as we moved through the draft. And EDG, if they want these two picks, they'd be very powerful.
It's interesting to see the Vega pick come through. Actually, Mako lost a game on Vega against OMG, the same game we're speaking of. It's actually the only loss that we've seen for a support Vega. However, we have to mention it is a flex pick. We are talking about EDG 2-0 with the mid Vega coming out from Pawn, 0-1 with the support Vega.
Yeah, let's see what they want to get done there, but Fire Lolly will take Rek'Sai as well, which is quintessential Clear Love champion. So Clear Love not here today, at least for this game, but here in spirit now with the pick.
I'm seeing some champions being mulled over. You have to think it's going to be Jarvan just to put out all that jungle pressure. That's been their meta pick. That's the pick through, and you have to think the aggression, we saw it last series, it's going to keep up from Snake.
Yeah, Beast doesn't have to show anything else now, but that's a Gnar in there as well as their next pick. So Barker is going to be taking the Cassidy, it seems.
I mean, there's no reason to suggest that he won't be able to play that Cassidy. Okay, the early laning phase is kind of the difference between the very strong Cassidy players and the ones that just kind of wait for the Rod of Ages to round out. So I'm sure he's going to be comfortable in the mid lane, but it does suggest passivity, and it opens up some interesting counter picks from EDG and Pawn specifically.
Yeah, I mean, Pawn has just got such a deep champion, but I think it's often described as an ocean, at least by Spawn, especially one of our color casters here. But EDG have plenty of picks to move through. Wouldn't be surprised to see an aggressive short-range AD carry. That seems to be the gold standard here. And Deft, one of the best Corki players in the world, he'll take Corki, and someone is getting Kennen.
The synergy between Corki and Vega is massive. Not necessarily in lane. They do a lot of magic damage to the harassers there. But if you rotate with that Trinity Force Corki, something EDG is, I believe, the best team in the LPL at doing, you just throw down that event horizon next to a turret. There's just so much space the enemy can't move around. Trinity Force procs come in, turrets fall down, and that's the name of the EDG game. All about that early rotations. So I do love the synergy between those two picks. And we talk about space control. The Kennen ultimate. None better than that.
Yeah, Korra, a strong team fighter. If he wants to take the Kennen in the top lane, a champion I'm sure he's played multiple times already would look lovely in this comp. The EDG are building, but Snake are going to mix things up but keep it very aggressive. Crystal, I think for the first time ever, is going to take Lucian, and Leona there for Ella.
And look, you can still pull out hard carry Lucian. I think we saw it from Candy in one of the previous games, I believe last weekend. If you get enough items on Lucian, he's not quite the same early game beast he once was. Of course, with the burst coming through from Leona, still going to be very powerful. They've been mulling over this Riven a few times, so at least it might be a consideration. Didn't look so good when Vici Gaming's carry played it in the top lane, but it is an option.
I mean, it's interesting as well as we think about the AD carries a bit more here. I feel like a lot of players are starting to pick Lucian specifically in the Corki, but they do lock your Riven, and I believe that is Pawn's champion.
Wow. Riven mid. We actually saw Riven versus Cassidy come out in the top lane or in an off-lane matchup. I believe it ended up bot in that Vici Gaming series. It's a little bit different because in that matchup, of course, the Riven had to balance harass with not pushing the lane, and the result was pushing the lane a lot. Of course, Cassidy would just, I believe it was going, would just position himself in the minion wave. And unfortunately, the Riven would have to push it in, and Cassidy got free farm. In a short lane like mid, I'm going to expect a lot of shenanigans coming through from Fire Lolly on this Rek'Sai. Actually, a lot of heavy lifting needs to come from the jungle, because it's a very strong matchup for Riven. But this is a Jarvan 4. This is a lot of gank pressure coming from the jungle. Suddenly this game just got blown wide open. It's so exciting.
Yeah, every time Pawn always has a pocket pick, it seems like every single game. It could have been the Vega. This time, though, it's going to be Riven.
The laning matchup is fantastic for Riven. No sort of magic damage to be shielded from the Q. You have to max the E, but you have to be so careful with your positioning. There's always significant burst potential coming out from the Riven. In the bottom lane, the Lucian versus Corki matchup, I actually do tilt this in the favor of Lucian. It's one of his still strong Lucian matchups because the Piercing Light doesn't have much of a ramp cast time. You get that trade and then you can use the Relentless Pursuit to dodge out of the Phosphorus Bomb, that slower moving skill shot. It's a very good Lucian matchup, but Lucian, it feels like he peaks around 3-4 items rather than kind of his 1-2 item power spike back in the day.
Yeah, we talk a lot about Corki's mid-game power. He's no slouch in the late game. He does so much damage just everywhere as far as big mix damage is concerned. So it's all good here, but we have one hell of a game coming up. Let's get into it. And welcome back here for what's going to be one hell of a game here in the LPL. 1 versus 2 as Snake in second take on EDG, still sitting pretty at first place.
And we haven't seen much Riven mid ever since the heady days of Season 3 World Championships when Faker was pulling it out on his NA account, the barcode killer, of course. There's a lot to like about the matchup against Barker in the mid lane, and he's able to pick up Ignite. This is what Carry couldn't do. It is a fantastic laning matchup for Riven, but without the Ignite for kill pressure because of the top lane matchup, couldn't take Ignite there. Has it here, and Barker, he's got the exhaust. I don't even know if that's enough to save him.
Well, a stroke of genius here as far as the drop for EDG goes. Pawn, of course, such a deep champion pool, can pick out something like a Riven, but Barker, it's not just an exhaust, Papa Smithy. He's going all in. He's got cloth and biscuits as well.
He does not want to die early to this Riven. I like the respect coming through. Of course, 5 biscuits is so much regen. It's not just the 750 health from the pots, but also the little biscuit extra sustain coming through. See, very fast in the bottom of Crystal. I believe they're still spotted out by a ward. Be interesting to see how these lane swaps go through, as there's a lot of people looking to dodge certain matchups.
Yeah, EDG do want to dodge their bottom lane matchup just because Vega's quite weak in lane as a support, so it seems that they'll get that lane swap, but Barker cannot avoid Pawn today.
No, Barker cannot avoid Pawn. Of course, as Caston, you prefer a short lane. I mean, the matchup against Riven, if he was able to get a swap to the same matchup in an off lane, it would actually suit Caston, a longer lane, more chance to farm safely at turret, but he's going to be left with the mid lane matchup and Pawn on the mid lane Riven. I love it.
This will be a treat here. Pawn's such a strong player. Should be able to play a very technically demanding champion like Riven 2 at T. And the other thing I actually like is EDG's comp is actually totally fine with the Riven in it.
Absolutely. I mean, they still have the balanced ranged auto attack coming through from Kennen as we see some shenanigans going on with the invade.
Mako actually stole the Gromp with a Dark Matter.
That's amazing.
That is amazing. Should not be happening, but it's amazing.
And that just, I mean, the significant factor is, look, it's amusing to see him saunter off on that final boss Vega skin with level 2, but the more significant factor, Pastry Time, how far does this set behind both Beast and Flandre? With the jungle follow, they're going to ping level 2 so much later. It's going to be so much more difficult to go for those early turret dives because everything's moved back 30 seconds, 40 seconds, maybe even a minute, missing out on that big level 2.
Yeah, we talk about when teams do want to try and, like target Snake when they're playing them in games. It is Beast that they often put a lot of early pressure into, and Mako, he apparently didn't want to lane at all, not even just a swapper. He's in the mid lane now.
He's just going for a roam. You have to think it's the Event Horizon level 2 as the jungle follow continues. And finally, Kennen's going to enter lane in the bottom lane.
Yeah, Korra will join in there. Actually does have a Doran's Blade and some potions, so going to be able to last it probably quite decently there as he moves in effectively. And I think what's yet a 1v1 matchup now against Solution.
Don't know much to think about the Fire Lolly, of course, on the Rex side. Probably not going to have much of identity to the late game. Still going to see a lot of significant split pushing pressure coming out. No Lulu to help him with the ult, but actually Flandre is path to mid.
Yeah, Mini Narum, they're coming through. The Boomerang's going to come in, and that actually forces a teleport cancel and the flash by Pawn.
That's still a lot of summoners used. Now Pawn's going to play that much more safe. Remember, it's still Beast. It's still the uncleansable CC from level 2. He's got that CC, and you're going to camp this matchup whenever you see it because it's so one-sided, at least on paper, in Riven's favor.
Yeah, Barker, they're doing okay right now. Pawn staying ahead in CS, but Barker doing the best he can to keep the minion wave nice and trimmed and Pawn out of his face.
It's in a wonderful spot. I mean, Barker does take some harass, but he's happy to be hitting minions under the turret. And I see you amused by the fact that the rotations continue.
I mean, that Pawn just played that stun beautifully there. Knows the matchup to it. See, Pawn, again, such a strong player. But Snake, this is a great rotation. A little bit risky, but they're going to attempt a dragon here at 4 minutes with Beast and Flandre at level 2.
Fire Lolly's so low on the other side of the jungle, so it's actually going to be a pretty safe buff come through. There's no potential for EDG to come check it. I believe it's going to come through.
Yeah, Ella's here as well, and Beast continues a lot of creativity from the jungle. Crystal even moving in to help out, and Snake, they do get the Dragon.
I believe Pawn put the pings out to show that there was pressure coming that way. They couldn't check if it was Dragon, but they're going to have an educated guess. It's suddenly 4 members in the mid.
Flandre coming in as well. Ella looking for the flash, but Pawn's on the other side. Bucket chasing in, does land the slow though. Flandre, can he line up the boulder? He does not have very much Mega enough on left. There's the boulder, does get the slow, but they can't chase any further, and Pawn should be able to get away. They're still going in. The flash set from Bucket. Q goes over. Riven lives somehow. Oh no, the boomerang, that was amazing.
The heal was clutch from Def, but the snipe max range boomerang toss from Flandre gets first blood. Nothing Mako could do. So slow on the roam. No Moby boots available yet. And first blood to Snake.
Yeah, that boomerang leaving me literally flabbergasted with how Flandre hit it. And Snake, they're doing Snake things today.
It looked like finally the great communication we see consistently from EDG would come through with the clutch heal from Def, but he loses an important summon and smell cooldown. Okay, he's in a 1v0. He might not need it just yet, but in the next 3 minutes, doesn't have the same combat opportunities with heal on cooldown.
Yeah, and Snake, a lot of risk being taken with some of these early roams, but they've been successful in securing first blood. Crystal getting some time alone here, and most importantly, Buck is ahead in CS of the Riven.
And Pawn is unfortunately going to have to play so defensive. He uses his broken wings offensively to try and get damage or push the wave. So gankable by Beast Jarvan. I don't understand how Beast continues to get the Jarvan, because Snake looks so much better, so leveled up. It opens up them up to play so aggressively when they pick up this Jarvan.
Yeah, and aggressive is an understatement in this game. Snake have come out of the gates blazing today here, as Baku will actually return to his lane, but there's a couple people looking to gank him. Ella might even spot off Rek'Sai.
I see Rek'Sai waiting so patiently. Level 4, so of course Rek'Sai has CC very, very early into the game. A lot of members on this minimap around the mid. Both sides actually. Much danger coming through for Baku.
A lot of danger. Kyrian Beast going to move and take the Scuttle Crab away. Mako continuing to roam back and forth between the top and mid lanes, but can't find anything yet, and Baku getting so close to the early level 6.
And despite the first one, actually gold is very even, and Mako, he wants to kill Flandre.
Yeah, up in towards the top side of the map. Flandre does go down there to death. Very good stun up there, and Beast can't do anything to help the Nah.
This 5.2 Vega, you have so few options when that event horizon goes down. It lasts a long time. He couldn't eat the burst damage coming through from Def. Falls down, and Def much happier now.
Yeah, uses heal, gets a kill later for it. So good work, Mako, making sure that Def's able to get a bit of an early lead here. And actually, the AD carry is very even in CS. Crystal seems like he might be fast pushing now, though, using some of that Light Slinger passive to really get damage down on the turret.
But the gold lead for EDG actually comes through the bottom lane, specifically Koro. So safe on this cannon, actually with a second shot, still significantly ahead of Flandre in terms of the matchup. 24 CS is a massive advantage. It's so much of the gold lead coming through from EDG. Flandre, though, still able, because he's against Corki and actually taking mixed damage, to build for the eventual 1v1. The Hex Drinker is clutch in the matchup against Kennen, allows you to survive through that slicing maelstrom.
Yeah, and Flandre in the top side of the map now as well. Deft actually stayed, and he has a 3-level advantage over Flandre, so he might try and get some work done. Ella, though, going to go roaming again as he recalls.
Yeah, Ella's going to go for a roam. We've said that so many times. Usually it's on the Janna, his favorite champion, but Leona's so much pressure. It's what forced the lane swap, of course, because you get bodied out of lane as Vega if you're against a Leona. But the resulting Corki farming very happily. The Moby boots completed on Mako, so definitely looking for lane presence. And Pawn, I mean, in the counter matchup, you have to say, behind in CS, that's the only real hole for this early game for EDG.
Yeah, it does have a bit of a brutalizer here, so it can look to maybe get aggressive. Baku, though, level 6 with an arm guard, very safe now.
Patient time off screen, I saw some disgusting things coming through. I saw the aggressive the aggressive Valkyrie come through from Corki, and I wondered why, because Flandre was at full health. He's still level 3 against the level 7 Corki. He cannot even come within trade distance because he takes so much damage despite having the magic resist completed early. Yeah. Flandre is so zoned in this top lane.
Yeah, I mean, he, moved around, got the first blood, got the roam, but hasn't got anything else. Finally, the wave going to crash into his turret, and he'll pick up some much-needed experience in CS.
You know it's bad when the roaming support is higher level than you. Flandre's going to take a lot of burst.
Yeah, he actually might go down here. Def going to go, and the Ignite does come through the missile, though. Will clean him off, and Def gets another kill.
The moment that Beast left lane burst down, I love the aggression coming through from Def. He's so good at pushing the limits of the Corki. Usually it's with the Trinity Force, but pre-Trinity Force, just padding his stats, sitting on 3,000 gold.
Yeah, literally has just the Doran's blade still, and now Beast could be in trouble. Fire Lolly here, going to look for the flash on Boba. Ella moving in as well. Beast Flash out of the exchange. Jelly and Ella going to keep chasing in as Flandre back here with the teleport. He is somewhere here as Baka rotating in as well. Fire Lolly in trouble. Baka going to move in for the kill. Flandre low, they're kiting. Mako somehow still alive. Boomerang just going to miss this time. And Snake get another kill. Beast looks for it. Porn though comes in with the ulti, picks up Flandre. Going to move in now. Baka gets dead. Another kill goes down. Riven gets one there as well. But Baka's got 2 kills. There's the double. Porn might be the 3rd as well as Ella. Going to try and chase him up. A beautiful double stun, but he does go down. And a 4-for-2 exchange. 8 people in the top lane.
But the result actually extends the advantage for Baka, and mid lane has the Seeker's Arm Guard already, suddenly sitting on 2,100 gold. It could be a 9-minute Zhonya's. Okay, it doesn't help him build up the Rod of Ages, it doesn't help build up the mana or health pool, but this Kassadin, in a terror matchup for him, has got a load of gold in the bank.
Yeah, and now we're racing 2 very different Fed champions on either side. Baka here on the Kassadin, gonna go real big here early on, and Deft on the Corki, almost done with the Trinity Force.
We have so many options to purchase. He goes towards the Rod of Ages, probably the more balanced option, although leaves still kill pressure coming through from Pawn. Pawn 2-2-0, it's not the start he's looking for. A lot of CDR available, probably going to be useful because he needs to balance the aggressive broken wings, at least at this point, with the defensive ones, given how much attention he's gotten in lane.
Yeah, Flandre is actually picking up a lot of much-needed CS in the mid lane as well, so thanking Baka for his time off here in the mid lane. He'll might even get level 6. He's going to be close here as he moves in, but Flandre, again, rotating effectively. This happens so often to Flandre for some reason, but he plays resourceless so often.
I mean, that's the funny thing, is that he was known as this carry top laner, but his identity in the LPL is mostly to pick up the bags of other people, hope to pick up a bit of farm where he can, because he's been put in so many bad laning matchups. Actually very comfortable in the mid, and he's watching as his team goes and takes a second dragon.
Yeah, Snake a really good rotation. Flandre just showing a bit of presence, and EDG with no good vision, it seems like, around the area. Just can't contest. Deft is in the top lane, going to take out a turret by starting to proxy this wave here, but EDG, they need to pick up the pace a bit.
I don't mind giving away the second dragon specifically. Of course, they had vision because the Scuttle Crab was dead. They're close to power spikes, but they don't have them yet. Seeker's Arm Guard just went back and was completed by Korra. He's the person with most of the gold advantage relative to his opponent, as Baka takes a little trade of damage there. And he just needs to power that up. Deft in the top lane doesn't have Trinity Force, does have the top turret now, so that could prove significant. But they're so close to a power spike that they're almost in a power trough. They just want to wait and be comfortable and contest for this third dragon.
I mean, makes sense. So Snake, of course, very happy to get an early first dragon then as well, so they're able to get the quick 2. Rod of Ages is going to come through here for Baka, who's going to finish that at a pretty good clip. Pawn, though, you can see in the matchup, still able to bully Kassadin a bit.
And it's still a very, very good laning matchup for Kassadin, but the question always is, what does the Riven do in late game team fights? We've all seen the games where Fed Riven comes from top lane and just destroys everyone, but it doesn't happen consistently in competitive games. The big thing for him here is that Koro and Mako have so much AoE CC that if this Riven is able just to do damage and isn't focused down in a fight, there could be a lot of bursts coming out at the start. It's just whenever those abilities are on cooldown, you have to position so conservatively as a Riven, otherwise you'll just be exploded. You're still a very squishy melee range carry.
Yeah, Riven in teamfights is a little weird. You kind of go from being a big aggressive split pusher in the top that bullies people to just honestly being an AoE machine.
But the question is, how long in this game can Pawn have a split pushing advantage over Flandre? If he's not able to bully Flandre out of lane, of course, there's going to be a significant armor stack coming through from Flandre at some point in this game. If he's not able to bully Flandre and Flandre going to sit back with the teleport advantage, it's a strategic hold that Snake will take advantage of. He needs to be able to push his opponent out of lane consistently and then just look for that perfect team fight when everything lines up.
And let's just take a quick step back here and appreciate the top 2 teams in this league, because the amount of rotations that have happened in this game are amazing here. Crystal's rotated in to the mid now. We've got Flandre in the top, like you mentioned. Pawn's moved up in there as well. Everyone's moving around just seamlessly in the first 13 minutes of the game.
Absolutely. Very experienced, smart top teams coming through. We saw almost 3 members were posturing. Leona was thinking about the turret dive on Pawn in the top. The pressure's relieved, and it just remains just the Pawn versus Flandre matchup in the top. As Koro, he's looking aggressively down bot. 3 members, in fact.
Baka might get Gang Maker's going to move in there as well. Baka just dodging the stun, or stay in the middle and maybe look to recall instead. Going to wander back down to bot lane.
I mean, EDG standard playstyle with this Trinity Force Corki is to rotate and get structures. They have the top turret. The mid one's easy to defend in that short lane. Deft's the one who's going to pick up blue. Of course, he's the only person that uses mana next to Vega on his team, so it should be consistent double buffs coming through from Deft. It's not a protect the Deft comp, but he's going to be certainly set up to succeed.
Yeah, he always is on the corky with EDG as well, and we're going to check on a couple item timings here as well. Just to note, Deft's Trinity Force came at about 11 minutes in this game, and I believe Cassidy now has enough for his Rod of Ages, so if he goes back, both those items are actually reasonably accelerated. In Deft's case, especially so.
And worth knowing that Crystal's gone for the Bloodthirster first. Of course, excellent for taking down structures, excellent for aggressive positioning to do any neutrals, but of course, in terms of right-click damage, it's not an infinity edge. Even with the change to the critical strike, moving down from 25% to 20% that came through on this patch 5.2. Crystal's not looking for early fighting. It's usually the third, fourth item spike where we see a really impressive burst of damage coming through from this Illusion Pit.
And just as a small thing as well, Flandre CSing under that turret was unbelievable. So Flandre somehow is actually catching up here. Cor is still 25 CS ahead, but you can tell why Flandre is happy to play without that much gold.
Know the game's in a lull when you're able to appreciate the little things pastry time, but
hey,
these top players, they're all right at CSing under turret.
There are a lot of really beautiful little things in this series, and don't worry, Snake, and maybe taking the foot off the gas for a little bit, but that won't happen much longer. Third Dragon's coming up in about 4 minutes.
Absolutely. That'll definitely be the time when we just won't be able to see the amazing last hitting mechanics under turret. Flandre has a lot of people backing him up. They're actually expecting the overextension from Pawn, I have to imagine. But Pawn on the other side of the map, and just no strategic holes to be exploited by Snake.
Again, another smart rotation. Tiamat not quite done for Riven, but Pawn's going to rotate and continue pick up CS. Even now, actually, Tabaka, who's now done with his Rod of Ages. Deft's now with a blue buff, I believe, actually, in the mid lane, but Crystal's holding him off. It's going to be a big battle, potentially, for the mid lane turret.
So many people committed to the top lane at this point. A lot of backup coming through from Flandre. A lot spent on Sorcerer's Shoe, so that you know that the Slicing Maelstrom is going to be a massive factor in the next fight, but it delays the Zhonya's significantly for Koro.
Flandre actually might manage his rage. They do spot Fire Lolly. Good boomerang there. Buck is here as well. So this is potentially going to be a dive here. Snake are pressuring for a turret.
Well, we see Riven in the bot lane is split pushing, so it might be objective for objective, but it might even be a kill.
So smart by Flandre. Bucker dives in as well. Nars him into the wall. Wallops as well. Koro pops the ulti and Flandre gets the kill.
There was no reason for him to be so aggressively positioned. That sounds like a contradiction of terms. He was about a foot behind his turret, but he needed to be safer. He's going to be a turret trade with the Riven pushing so aggressively in bot, but Deft's in trouble.
He's going in though. Ella's going to tag him with a Zenith play, but he's forced to flash out almost instantly. Crystal took a big burst of damage there.
I mean, it was always going to be a swap of turrets, so I don't understand why he needed to be an experienced range. Just hang back, watch the turret fall down. It's going to be 4 members committing for an objective that you're getting with just 1 member, and just give time for Deft to pressure this mid lane turret.
Yeah, good pressure does get EDG. The crucial mid turret there. Pawn also collected the one in the... Never mind, turret's still there. I tell a lie.
Bottom lane turret goes down, but mid lane turret is a little bit of a bridge too far at this point.
Yeah, Crystal gets low, but does go back just in time for the next dragon that's up in 20 seconds as well. Now EDG even going to take away a red buff, so good control of the dragon side of the map.
Worth knowing that there was a red buff trade, but 1 red buff goes down to Deft with the steal coming through from EDG. Beast actually uses his smite to pick up the EDG red buff, so not going to be knowns to EDG. Won't see the rush coming down on Dragon as a result, but at least for the immediate future. Wow, Deft's going in.
Umbara comes through there. Deft actually going to get exhausted and stunned up, but still going to get the kill there, and that's a 5v4 now to start EDG's first dragon.
We haven't seen the event horizon all weekend, so I forgot they'd CC's you for just a little while.
Quite a long time here as Flandre actually checking out the area there, sweeping out some wards, doesn't find any. Pawn hunting for Baka here, it seems like. Now with the Tiamat done.
Yeah, they just saw Flandre trying to pressure the Scuttle Crab. They pick up the Scuttle Crab, Dragon's up. EDG do not want to give away this third dragon. They need their cannon in position. They don't necessarily have a flanking ward for him just yet. The Slicing Maelstrom could be a massive factor in this next fight, but he needs to kind of come from a flank to really guarantee getting to the back line.
Crucially as well, only about halfway through to level 11, so won't have rank 2 of the ulti if they do go for the dragon now. So EDG make the much more conservative play and go for the mid turret.
Yeah, they actually go for the event horizon, hoping to get a pick on Crystal, but no dice on that one. Level 11 so important on Koro for this cannon, but maybe not for the reason you think. It's not necessarily the amount of damage that comes to it, it's that you have enough bolts, I believe, with a level 2 ultimate and just putting down your W to stun up a whole team. It's only at level 16 where it's an auto stun for a whole team. It's situational at 11 and difficult 6 with the teleports coming through.
Flandre going through. EDG going to claim their first dragon, but Snake want to fight them for Fire Lolly. Getting knocked up in there as well. Beast dives in. Baka though gets exhausted and Deft gets the first kill. Flandre goes in. Nasty pivot into the wall. Koro's diving in onto Crystal and Flandre's forced to back away. Baka chasing Koro. The kill goes to Crystal. Now that is going to be going down as Ella is in trouble. But Pawn's getting low. Will go down to Baka. That's a double. Deft got a double there as well. Can make it a triple, but Deft now in trouble. Crystal going to chase in for yet another kill. Should be able able to get it. Def goes in real deep. Mako tries to find the stun, but can't do it, and 4 for 4.
The vision juke coming through from Deft was massive, though was able to get the pickup on Baka. It's a 4 for 4 trade. Mako, he wants to steal another objective. I don't know if he's going to get this blue
He's
buff.
going to line it up. He does. He's a Dark Matter. He didn't steal it.
No, he did.
Oh, he did. What a wizard.
I mean, literally a wizard.
Yes, literally a wizard. Very good at this game as Fire Lolly does catch Crystal. That Chillinks might actually, as Crystal tried to get the buff.
Crystal's going to be pretty sad about this.
He does go down there. Fire Lolly will get credit for that kill.
No buff transfer. Actually, red buff onto Fire Lolly, but man, the Rek'Sai ultimate actually came out massive in that situation, being able to get the exit kill. Ends up being a 5v4, and Vega, Event Horizon's going to be on that much shorter a cooldown.
Yeah, very greedy from Crystal there, but a great steal again from Mako. Apparently he's done this before, and EDG is starting to pick it up now. About 2,000 gold ahead, but not a massively. But Bloodthirster accelerated massively here for Def. We've got the Hydra done now for Riven as well, plus an Aegis here for Fire Lolly.
But a very interesting pickup coming through from Baka. Actually goes for quite a late tier to balance out his build. This is something that Dada used to do around Champion Spring last year, getting the late tier, because you know eventually you'll stack it up because you use the Rift Walk and you'll cooldown so often in a fight. But it's very little stats right now, and they're against a Riven. So this is suggesting to me they want to pull this game out and move away from the point where Riven's able to reliably get into the backline, wait for QSL, wait for Banshee Veil to come through. But it's very interesting to go for a late game item against what is a very strong mid-game team. Corki, Riven, Kennen, all wonderfully strong in the mid-game, and yet you're building a tier.
Yeah, EDG kings of the mid-game here as well. We've seen it so many times with the Corki especially that they've just looked so good, and Flandre can continue getting CS. Snake are valiantly defending the mid lane turret. I feel like Crystal and Def have been fighting over it for about 10 minutes here, but Mako going to try and line up the stun, just misses.
Mako has no flash. Maybe he does have the distortion boots. I was going to say consider it. He has the talisman and distortion. He's going for those big Event Horizon plays in the late game, but for now, going to have to back out just as Pawn finds a red, happy to find a pink ward on his retreat.
Yeah, Pawn has been very mobile actually in the, basically ever since he left his lane after getting level 6, he's moved around, split push a lot, and just creating pressure and getting vision for his team.
We've seen so many different laning matchups. We see Pawn versus Flandre and Koro versus Bako as the result. Flandre is not respecting this Riven and gets deleted in the bot lane.
Yeah, Pawn just destroys him there with a great combo.
Just no reason to die there whatsoever. I didn't even need to use Flash Pawn, but got the kill down onto Flandre. Need to respect the Riven. You don't see it so much in competitive play, but we've all played solo queue. We know how much damage this Riven can do.
Yeah, and Flandre now the Warden's now maybe thinking that, hey, that Riven hurt a little bit more than I maybe would have liked it. EDG in the mid lane, still trying to get this mid lane turret, but with the Vega Corki, shouldn't be too hard. Fire Lolly going in, actually, Beast dodging out of the Foster Storm. That's a great stun coming through. Fire Lolly going to go dove in on Beast. They're going to follow in with a knock-up, and now Baka coming in, but Def gets the first kill. Baka's still not able to get it. Rek'Sai will live here. Great exhaust by Mako, but Crystal moving in now. So Pawn comes in, double stun with the W. Baka though does Rift Walk out, but Crystal, he's not going to have any such luck, and Def gets a triple kill.
There's a reason why Deft is so strong on this Corki, why we see it so often. The amount of damage he does, it feels like it's a different champion. He can do so much burst in the mid game. The BF sword helps, of course. It looked like EDG got greedy. They went for the dive rather than taking the free structure when they got the double stun with Event Horizon, but this is why they're a top team. They get 2 turrets out of it and maybe another kill.
Flandre going to get stunned. No, does actually on the end, but he does bounce out before it happens. But there's 2 turrets for EDG and a massive gold lead now.
It's an understatement to say 6.3k gold at 22 minutes. It's just a massive lead for a mid-game team, no less. The tier is now looking like more and more of a hole in Baka's build. He did so well. Remember, he got that snowball triple kill in the top lane. I don't know about spending your gold as he's done because he doesn't have the Zhonya's despite having a very early Seeker's Arm Guard. And all the power troughs on Snake are balanced out by a massively strong EDG.
Yeah, Baka will have the Zhonya's finished soon though, but EDG is spending some more gold. Pawn, Black Cleaver now for even more damage. So not interested in any sort of bloodthirst. Doesn't want sustain, just wants damage.
And of course, it gives him a little bit of health, but the big thing is, guess who's going to be doing even more damage? Of course, it's Deft. Already got the bloodthirster and a second BF sword. He's stacking AD like it's going out of fashion. Maybe there's a discount at his shop because he's got a lot of it at 22 minutes.
Maybe, and I actually like what Mako's done with his inventory as well. Has a luxury QSS.
Well, he needs to get... You can see what he's all about. There's only one ability he cares about with that build. He's going to get the perfect Event Horizon and no stun, no solar flare. Nothing is going to stop him.
Nothing in the world will stop Mako there. And when we look through as well, EDG, Koro's actually finished up a zone. He's kind of playing like a Rumble this game, just getting in and using his ult.
I mean, that's just the way he's going. That's all he really needs to do. Of course, he delayed the Zhonya's with a Sorcerer Shoes. That's why I was worried about potentially the next Dragon fight. It looked like it might be one of those situations where it's Kennen, you're like, all right, going to ride in with the Electric Rush. and then just die before you can even activate your Zhonya's. So smart pickup, of course, has the Zhonya's. Maybe even a Rylai's just for another defensive peel-ish spell, of course, does apply with every time you proc the Mark of the Storm. So it'd be very smart to pick up a Rylai's, or maybe just go straight for the Void Staff, because I think the magic resist, it's going to start coming in from Snake.
Yeah, Crystal down in the bottom lane now as well, clearing out some minions that Pawn had pushed in. He's actually apparently going for his Draven build, or at least the start of it, because he's already got a Last Whisper done with his BT.
I mean, look, it's going to be a lot of culling damage. The Piercing Light going to do a lot of damage, but of course the consistent damage, that's where the lack of critical strike, the lack of attack speed, I mean, of course he does have a Zeal, but the relative lack comes through. Look, massively strong as Crystal once he picks up the 4 items, specifically, let's say, Phantom Dancer or Static Shift into Infinity Edge. That's when Lucian hits high gear, but of course that's the polar opposite of how it was a while ago as Dragons rush down. Second Dragon, I believe 2 all in Dragons. But yeah, it's the late game power spike for Lucian compared to the early game power spike of a few patches ago.
Yep, EDG, they're going to move aggressively through Snake's jungle here in the bottom right-hand side. Def leading the charge on the Corki, very strong like you mentioned here, even as the Silk shoots for a bit of extra damage coming through. We do get, of course, the Dragons equaled up there as well, like you mentioned. 2 for 2 now on that objective, so very even here, apart from that gold dig, which is still snowballing in favor of EDG.
Even with double Sightstone, EDG using their sweepers off cooldown to clear out as much vision as possible. You can tell with the wards, so defensive from Snake. This is not usually the Snake we see, but they've gone in.
They actually want Mako apparently here. Actually, Ult's poor Beast is flashing out though as well. Flandre going to move in the back, but Ella got caught by the Event Horizon. Crystal moving in, pops the culling, but just a little bit of poke damage, and Ella might try and go back in. Flandre not enough rage on Baka. He wants someone, but he can't assassinate anything.
Now, Snake made the very aggressive call because actually Pawn had gone back to base to make another purchase. There's another QSS coming through on the EDG lineup, and they're going in.
Yeah, Crystal there gets knocked up. He has to be careful. Flashed out of the way. Ella going to move in and try and peel here. And actually, that's a slow landing. Corey needs one more stun, but he can't find it. Baka moving in to defend. Ella actually gets dropped in there by an Event Horizon as well. And Snake defending this tier 2 in the bottom lane.
There was some significant misfires in terms of summoner spells used. Def tried to flash over a particularly fat part of the wall. Couldn't do it. So they used a lot of summoners to get the exit kill on Crystal, and he lives.
Baka, though, does get stunned up there. They are going to dive in. Fire he dives in the back. Baka, a good zone. But Korra dives under the turret with his ulti, ticking away. Pawn finds Funja with the knock-up. Corey gets a couple kills. That's 2-0 EDG.
With this mid-game comp and noticing the late-game comp coming out from Snake, they're trying to make this week 2 result a distant memory. So fast has the turnaround been in this game in the last 10 minutes, and EDG advantages in every member of the team.
On Papa Smithy, honestly, they're going full Snake with how they're approaching this game. Diving turrets relentlessly, happy to just go in under turrets and try and pick up kills, and it's working a treat so far.
Butchering some of the win rates on, for example, Beast Jarvan, previous to this game, 6-1, looking like 6-2. We have to remember, though, there is the Riven. The Riven is always a question mark in the late game, but I love the early QSS. He wants to be doing as much consistent damage as possible.
Yeah, EDG just have to win the mid game. That's what they've picked for here, and the Baron even going to go down quite quickly. Def does just ridiculous amounts of damage.
Look who's around. Beast is there. They're going to have to kill him.
They do get going for it there. The ulti even comes out for Vega, but it's not enough. Def might have actually face-checked the Leona ulti. Gets stunned up there as well. The Baron, though, does go in, and now Korra's going to move in. Def getting low there, but it's not enough damage. Ella forced to flash out, but gets stunned up by Cannon, and Def pads the scoreline 12-2-3.
Baka's slow to react, isn't able to get a counter assassination onto Deft. Of course, with all his AD stacking, it will be a big factor to kill him early, stop all the structures from coming down. But with the Baron regen, all the lifesteal complete now with the Bloodthirster, going to keep pushing strong. And Snake, they've got no answer.
Yeah, I mean, they've got Baka's wave clear. Crystal's ulti's going to be used there as well, but the Baron minions are so tough, and the next tower is going to go down 6-2 in turrets for EDG. Well and truly 10,000 gold ahead.
Yeah, lovely scaling coming through from Snake in a balanced game, but it's not a balanced game. The moment you see Corki coming through from Deft, you know the mid-game is going to be crazy. The Riven was just the absolute double down on mid-game. Their mid-game is disgustingly strong, and things like the QSS and all the mobility coming through from Mako makes sense. The moment that more than one member gets stunned, you can see the aggressive flash, whether it's Korra, whether it's Pawn, whether it's Deft, they're all going all in because their damage right now is unreal.
Yeah, I mean, if you thought Deft's damage was unreal before, he's ascended to a new level. Infinity Edge was his latest pick up here. And really expensive build at almost 28 minutes into the game. Deft is going to kill everything.
I don't know where he got 14,000 gold in 27 minutes, but it's already come out into it. Flandre, he's going to die, but it's a very nice ultimate. He gets stunned.
Good double knock, good bounce out as well, but it's still too much damage to take, and Deft snipes him with a rocket for his 13th kill of the game.
He tried to sneakily sidestep out of the Event Horizon, still caught. Such a fat skill shot. Gets stunned up and will eventually die. 13-2-3 is Deft on this Corki. What does it take to have a Corki ban against you if you're EDG?
I don't know, maybe this game at this point, in the LPL. Snake going to back off towards their base. EDG will rotate down here as well and try and take another turret. All they have left is to break the base, and they still have a Baron buff, I believe.
They still have the Baron buff for at least another few seconds. Yeah, it's about 60%, 70% done. These minions are going to be strong, and unfortunately, there's no items on Snake to deal with the strength of EDG.
Fire Lolly looking aggressive there as well. Pawn going very aggressive. Finds Crystal there with a knock-up, and he just gets blown to pieces there by Riven. Koro going to use his ulti. Yella going to go down next. That's 3 kills under the turret. EDG almost ignoring the structures, but they're getting in him, and that might just be game.
Health bars are exploding as if it's still level 1 on the side of Snake. They have items, but nothing to compare to EDG. Everyone goes towards. Finally, Deft dies trying to dive the turret, and this should be game.
Yeah, a little too deep. Deft's going to make it a little tricky, but Snake tapped them out. EDG rout them in game 1. That was awesome from both sides.
1 versus 2 in name maybe, but definitely not in gameplay as EDG blows Snake away. We were talking about the Snake Renaissance yesterday. Remember, EDG went 1-1 in 2 series. Their first draws of the split came in week 6. In week 7, though, they come all guns blazing.
Well, you mentioned the Corky ban there for Deft. If there was ever a signal that you should probably ban it, that lady holding the sign knows what's up, by the way.
A bit of a profit after an easy MVP coming through from Deft. Such an impressive performance. We never hardly even said the name of Crystal the whole game, the current MVP leader, as he was just outclassed by Deft, and specifically those rotations coming through from EDG. From Snake, they looked on point early, but suddenly EDG went into high gear, the mid-game started, suddenly Trinity Force was locked in on Deft, and we all know what comes next.
Yeah, well, it was carnage there, and if that was after that game, you guys do not want to miss the second one. EDG battle Snake again. Don't go anywhere.